So I want to start this lesson off by apologizing to Ryan. You have been asking me what FOIL means all year, and unfortunately I don't get to be here in person to tell you what it means. But today's lesson is all about our friend FOIL. So today you actually get to learn what that acronym is all about. To review, before we get to foiling, we want to remember what the distributive property is all about. If you have 3x times the quantity 4x squared minus 5x, you just distribute the 3x to both terms inside. So this would end up as 12x to the third minus 15x squared. Okay, so that's the distributive property. But what happens when you have a binomial times another binomial? Okay, it makes sense when you have one term, a monomial, outside a binomial, two terms. Okay, but what happens if you have a binomial times a binomial? Well, in order for us to do that, we introduce the acronym FOIL. Okay, it's an acronym. It stands for something. So the F stands for first. The O stands for the outside. The I stands for inside. And the L stands for last. So this example up here, let me show you what this means. So when we are doing our first, all right, you take your first term and you multiply it by your first term in the other binomial. So first times first, well, 3x times 2x is 6x squared. Then you take your outside. Now, if you look at this whole example, look at the outside terms. So you have your 3x again times your 7. So 3x times 7 is 21x. It's the outside terms. Then you look again at the whole thing. We're talking about the inside terms. So our inside terms are the 4 and the 2x. Well, 4 times 2x is 8x. And then finally, we look at our last terms. Okay, the last term of the first one times the last term of the second one. So you have the 4 times the 7, which is 28. And then the only thing that you would need to do is combine any like terms that you see. You have a 21x and an 8x there. So your final answer would be 6x squared plus 29x plus 28. What you need to remember is FOIL is just another example of the distributive property. You take the first one and you distribute it. You take the second one and you distribute it. And FOIL just helps you remember all that. So again, another example for us, if we're going to multiply 2x minus 5 times the quantity 3x minus 4, you start with your first times your first. So 2x times the 3x is again 6x squared. Then you take your outside, your 2x times your negative 4. Well, that's your negative 8x. Then you do your inside terms. Negative 5 times 3x is negative 15x. And then you do your last terms. Negative 5 times negative 4 is positive 20. Combining any like terms, again, we see two x terms there, two linear terms. So you have 6x squared. Negative 8 and negative 15 make negative 23x plus 20. And that would be our final answer here. So on your own, I've got two problems for you to do. Go ahead and pause the video and do those. I kind of gave you a little hint on the first one, how you're supposed to do that. And hopefully you end up with those two answers. Okay. When you are multiplying a binomial by a trinomial, now you can't FOIL here because there's actually going to be 6 things that you multiply. But just remember what FOILing is. FOILing is the distributive property. So you just take your first term, the 3x, and you're going to distribute it to all 3 terms in the other one. Okay, so 3x times x squared is 3x to the third. 3x times negative 2x is negative 6x squared. 3x times 7 is 21x. And then you just distribute your 5. So again, just distribute both terms like you would normally. So 5 times x squared is 5x squared. 5 times negative 2x is negative 10x. And 5 times 7 is 35. Again, combine your like terms. Any like terms that you see there, there's nothing that combines with the 3x to the third, so you just leave that guy alone. Negative 6x squared combines with the 5x squared. Negative 6 plus 5 is negative 1x squared. You don't have to write the negative 1, but it is negative. You have 21x and negative 10x, so positive 21 and negative 10 make 11x, and then nothing combines with your constant 35. So 3x to the third minus x squared plus 11x plus 35 would be your answer.